Hey guys, it's Hannah from Hand Physio, and I'm going to take you through a 10-minute roll and release session today. So all you need is a trigger ball and a little bit of space. A lot of what we're going to be doing is on the ground. We're going to be going through our calf muscles, our hamstrings, our glutes, and then a little bit in through our low back. So let's get started. Using the ball, we're going to start with our calf muscles. And we have two major calf muscles that you can often see, that outer head of it and then that inner head. So we're going to start with the ball, and it's going to go on the outside. You can use your other leg here for a bit more pressure. And then essentially you can use your hands to kind of like push yourself forward and back. And with the trigger ball release, we don't want it to be painful, but obviously it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you're a runner and you're using these muscles a lot. And so I never want you to be cringing or like pulling away from the ball. So if you need a little bit less pressure, just at any point, take the pressure off a bit. And for this, you can just remove that top leg. And so I'm just moving back and forth. And when I find a little juicy spot, you can even do a few ankle pumps. The ball's still on the outside of my calf here. And I'm just bending and straining the ankle. And so as I'm doing that, we're getting a little bit of that calf pump because the calf moves our ankle joint. Find another spot. We're going to do the same thing. So I'm a little bit lower, but I'm still on the outside there. And a little bit of the pointing and bending of the ankle. And now we're going to roll the ball to the inside of the calf. So I'm going to be rotating my leg in a bit. And that meaty bit on the inside. And then same thing, we can start with just like a little bit of rolling around, just see how it feels. Again, a little bit extra pressure will be from that other leg. And I'm just using my hands to try and like rock my body back and forth. Finding some of those juicy spots there. And then once you find a good one, again, you can keep the pressure if you want, you can take it off. And then you're going to be pointing the foot and bending. And so we're kind of just doing like a muscle pin and release because you're staying in that same spot while you're moving the joint, which moves the muscle. So these calf muscles are the most superficial ones. It's called the gastrocnemius, and those are usually the ones that you can visibly see on people on the back of their legs there. Finding another spot, doing another bending and pointing. And then let's switch to the other leg. So we'll do the outside of our other calf. So ball goes on the upper half of your leg on the outside. This leg can come over for a little bit of pressure. And we're going to start with rocking back and forth a little bit there. And when you find that spot, point and bend that foot. So we're getting the lateral head of the gastrocnemius now. Our calf muscles do a lot while we're running. And so again, it might be quite tight for a lot of people. Sometimes doing this trigger ball feels a little bit more like relief than just stretching. And then just find another spot. Now we're going to switch to the inside of this calf. So rolling inwards, again, a bit more pressure here. With that other leg, roll around and just find some of those tight spots. And then point and bend that ankle joint. And another spot, so I'm going to go a little bit lower, pointing and bending the foot. Now we're going to move up to our hamstrings, and we're going to start at kind of like, if you find your sit bone, just a little bit down the leg. Right at our sit bone is where our tendon is, but we want to get some of the muscles with the ball. And so finding the sit bone and then rolling the ball down to kind of like the middle of the leg. So we have a few different hamstring muscles. So you might find that you want the ball to kind of go on the outside or on the inside of that back of our thigh. And honestly, whatever's more tight is probably the one that you need to work on a little bit more. And so again, you're kind of finding a spot, a little bit more pressure with the other leg crossing over. And then from here, you're kind of just gonna rotate your whole leg inwards and outwards. So if I'm looking at my foot, it's kind of like a windshield wiper. And so we're just going back and forth. So find a spot, keep the ball there, and then rotating the leg inwards and outwards. And so we're actually getting a little bit of like hip rotation work while we're doing this because we're going into internal rotation and then external rotation. But we're kind of working again just into that hamstring muscle. So find that spot, and then I'm just gonna move the ball down a little bit to find another one. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Inwards and outwards here. Other leg for a little bit more pressure. Our hamstring muscles attach to, like I said, our hip joint, and they also come across the knee joint. So they do a lot for the hip, and then they do a lot for the knee. They usually work harder as we're running faster. So it's normally for sprinting, where hamstrings really come into play, and change of direction sort of sports. The injury that a lot of runners can deal with, though, is proximal hamstring tendinopathy. And so that's where that tendon is up at that sit bone like I was talking about. And so sometimes just getting into the hamstrings can help relieve some of that tension that's ongoing there. We're going to find one more spot for this hamstring, and then we'll switch to the other side. Let's do the same. So starting kind of up higher, just off of the sit bone so that we're getting the muscle, not the tendon as much. Finding one of those spots. It can be central, it can be more on the outside, more on the inside. Once you find it, rotating the whole leg. So like a windshield wiper, your foot's moving, your knee's moving. We're getting just a little bit of that rolling of the muscle on the ball. Moving the ball down a little bit, finding another juicy spot. A little bit more pressure, and then just rotating that leg. Last spot, rolling down a little bit more, and then a couple more rotations there. Lovely. And then let's get into our glute muscles. So with the ball here, we're going to be doing a little bit of like the deeper external rotators. So that's our piriformis, but there's also a few under. And we're going to be getting glute max because that muscle covers all the other muscles too. So you can't really avoid it. From here, so if we found our sit bone and then went down for the hamstrings, we're now gonna go up for the glutes. So again, this guy, you kind of end up leaning over on that side. So you need to use your hand for a bit of support, and your leg can fall outwards. And then this one here is just to basically help not put all the load in through the glute. So I'm actually putting a decent amount of weight through my hands, so I'm not fully sitting on the ball because that is a bit uncomfortable. So pressure is determined by soreness. So you don't want to be sitting on it because it's probably going to be too much. So a little bit of push through your hands, and then we're going to be rotating again the hip. So like I said, these muscles are the external rotators of the hip. So as we come up into internal rotation, we're getting a bit of a stretch on them. And then as we're coming out into external rotation, they're kind of like relaxing a little bit in through there. So again, only move if it's a good soreness, not if anything is painful. If it's too much, then actually getting up and doing it against the wall can be a little bit better because you're leaning back and not holding yourself up. So do 3 more leg openings here. And then let's switch sides. So I'll just turn around so you can see. So again, sit bone, down was hamstrings, up is glutes. So we're coming up, rolling onto it a bit, using our hands for support here. This leg here to also support. And then this one comes up, drops down. If you feel a juicy spot right away, you can stay on it. But if not, you can roll forwards to the side, whatever you might need. Four more. 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax there. All right, ball can go to the side, and we're just gonna get a last stretch into our low back to finish it off. So having a lie on your back, you're gonna cross one foot over, and then you're just going to drop the foot down outside towards the ground, trying to keep this shoulder touching so we get a little bit of a stretch through the glute and a little bit into the low back here. And so we're going to be doing like a little bit of a rock and getting a little bit of that motion and stretch through that hip, glute, and low back. And so I'm just tapping the ground with my toe and then coming back up. So again, trying to keep your shoulder over on this side. You can even bring your arm out and look this way if you would like. We'll do 3 more. Last one. And then switching legs. So other leg crosses over. And then this guy taps down. And trying to keep this opposite shoulder on the ground. And you can turn and face the other way. Three more. 3, 2, and 1. All right, if you feel a need to attend to any of those areas a little bit more, rerun the video and head back to those spots. And then otherwise, happy running, happy training. Thanks.